Today we are gonna review another Opel Astra. This time it's a model from 2010 with something like 100,000 kilometers on the clock, and with a 1.6 liter engine with 180 horsepower. As I said, we have another Opel Astra. This one has a 1.6 liter engine, gas or petrol engine, with a turbo, with a manual gearbox, and it develops 180 horsepower and something like 230 newton meters of torque. The performance of the car are all right for this kind of class, for hatchback. It can go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 8.2 seconds, and the top speed is limited to around 220 or 230 kilometers per hour. In terms of consumption, the urban figures are almost every time over 10 liters per 100 kilometers. If it's really crowded, you can see figures up to 12, maybe 13 liters per 100 kilometers. If you go outside the city, on the highway, you can see something like 8 liters per 100 kilometers. And going on B roads with the speed limit at around 90, you can see values of 6, maybe 7 liters, depending on how you drive. The trunk area is quite large for the hatchback. As you can see, we have our carry-on luggage already in here, and I think you can squeeze something like 6 carry-on luggages, maybe with some spare space left. We have some pocket on the right side, but I'm not really sure what you would be storing there. You have some hooks here in the trunk, on the other side as well. This one is not really for the user. It's accessible, but you cannot store anything in there. And also underneath the boot floor, there's a small amount of storage, mainly for your tire repair kit or some small pieces that you don't want in the main trunk area. In the back, we have on most places some hard plastics, with at least here on your elbow area some textile with a bit of soft material. You also get some storage spaces here, and a speaker in the door card. The space is normal for a hatchback, with some storage spaces here, and in the central armrest underneath this cover. You also get some cup holders that are adjustable, and a 12-volt socket and some lighting in the ceiling. This is the space on the rear bench of the car at almost 1 meter and 80 centimeters. I have more than enough space for my head and also for my knees. more than 5 to 6 fingers here, with the front seat in line with the B-pillar of the car, so that's more than enough. You don't have enough space to stretch your legs under the front seat, so your knees are not in an optimum position, but I don't know, for a short to medium trip you'll be alright here in the back. Also, something else to point out, that the roof of the car is sloping inward, so if you're not careful you can bump your head into the C-pillar of the car. In front of the car, on the passenger side, we have some sort of soft materials on the door card. They're a bit softer actually. Here on your elbow area you have some piano black, but I don't mind it because you don't grab it as you are closing the door. Some storage space, and also a speaker inside the door card. As for the seats, they're quite sporty. I mean, they really hug you on curves, but they don't have enough ways of adjustment. It doesn't even lift up, this one, but at least it does have some storage underneath it. And for the first time sitting in here on the right side, I do have some 2, maybe 3 fingers of space for my knees. Obviously the head space is not a problem, but I can feel some hard plastic on the central console, so maybe that's not a great way to rest your knee on a long drive. And the glove compartment, actually it's decent. It's a decent size with a shelf here, but it doesn't have any cover inside. And now we'll see the driver's side. Obviously on the door card we have some controls for the electric windows, for the mirrors, right here on the door card. The driver's seat does have a lever to adjust the height of the seat. You have the light controls here on the left side of the steering wheel with some additional storage area, and the steering wheel itself is actually quite slim, quite user friendly, I'll say, because it does have physical buttons. On the left side you have the cruise control, and on the right side you control the infotainment screen with these commands. And after the steering wheel we have some usual stocks for our wipers and lights. From here you can control also the information in the screen, that's between the gauges. Classic analog gauges, actually nothing to see here. If we are looking up, we can see some lights for the inside of the car, a regular mirror. Not unfortunately doesn't have a space for your sunglasses. And on the center console we can find a screen for on this particular model for the navigation system, and also lots and lots of buttons, because that's the way Opel used to make cars back in the day. The only thing to mention is that you control the screen using this swivel wheel, and you also have to push on the outside ring to select something, because this controller it's only in use when you're searching something on the map. Underneath we have the climate unit and storage space with some USB port, an auxiliary port, and some 12-volt outlet. Here you can see the gear selector, the parking brake command, a cup holder, and maybe another set of cup holders, but they are a bit weird in shape. So yeah, maybe a storage area. And the central armrest can be adjusted in length but not in height. And if you open it, you can see another small area for storing your stuff. Something to point out for the age of the car, as you can see on some commands, the exterior layer is gonna come out. But yeah, for the most part, it's a spacious car. So you have now joined me in the driving review, in the driving part of the review. The first thing that I can mention is that this model that I'm driving right now feels quite sporty in lots of ways. I mean, after all, 180 horsepower not a while ago was considered hot hatch territory, so it's quite an snappy car, quite an useful amount of power. Although it's not obviously the most comfortable car, and that can be heard inside the car, even though we have a petrol engine, a gas-powered engine. You do hear it. I mean, after something like 2,000 RPMs, you start to notice the engine. If you use the infotainment screen, the infotainment system, maybe you don't really acknowledge the noise that it's coming from the engine, but for me here, driving in silence, I can really feel the engine. In terms of the overall noise insulation, it's not great. It's comparable to some other cars from this area, but you do hear everything that goes outside the car, around the car. You hear the suspension working, on bigger bumps at least. You hear the tires quite a lot. We have 17-inch rims on this model, so there's a certain amount of rubber on the wheels, but even so, sometimes it gets a bit uncomfortable. And also you feel the wind blowing through the side of the car, the side mirrors. We'll be able shortly to accelerate to 90 to let you hear the noise inside the car. Let's see. Now this is 90. Now let's try to get to 110. This is it. And now for a brief moment, let's go to 130. This is it. The car remains stable at this speed, but the wind really starts to pick up, so maybe you'll be a bit comfortable at around 100 to 110 maybe. Yeah, moving on, the steering is quite light. It's great for parking the car inside the city, but on a higher piece of road with a higher speed, I would like it to be a bit more heavy, a bit more planted. It responds fairly quick to my input, but I'm not sure where the front wheels are positioned most of the time. So yeah, it's more oriented towards comfort. Some other aspect to mention is the gear selector. It's sort of long gear. I mean, the distance between gears, it's quite long. And also the feel of the clutch pedal, it's sort of hard. If you're going on a long trip, it's not gonna be a problem, obviously, but inside the city, driving for 1 hour or maybe 2, you're gonna get some tired left foot. What else can be said? Also about the positioning of the pedals, it's quite a narrow space for your feet, and the clutch is a bit more to the left from the brake pedal, and that means that the space that remains for you to rest your left foot, it's kind of small. Maybe you'll get used to it, but for me, it's not enough. So pretty much that's the driving part, the feeling that the car gives when you're driving it. It started to feel the age of the car, but considering the cost of ownership and the cost of acquisition, I'll say it's an alright car for a family. In terms of maintenance, being a petrol engine car, it's quite easy to maintain. Just some regular filters and oil, some spark plugs. We have 17-inch wheels, and the tires are not that expensive. If you're not driving like a race car every time you get into the car, then you won't necessarily have to buy new tires, at least not until they get around 5 years old. The brakes as well, they have a nice feel, but they're not so high maintenance. And overall, at every 15,000 kilometers, if you do an oil change and the filters, I think you're gonna be all right. Some other aspects to mention about the car. The owner said that he encountered only one problem, and that's the tank for the cooling system of the car. It had to be replaced, but other than that, not a problem. It had to change the usual, some light bulbs, some clutch pack, but other than that, it has proven to be quite a reliable car. So that's my overall impression and review of this Opel Astra, and I want to thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll get some feedback from you in the comment section, and we'll see each other at my next review. Thank you for watching.